Good afternoon to all of you. I, Dr. Sanjib Pattnaik, I welcome all of you to our particular session today, that is designing and manufacturing goods and services. Uh, we are in the course which has been entitled as Operations Management, and it has been coded as MMPO 003. Now, in the initial stages, when we started our operations management, we discussed what is the meaning of operations or the basic fundamentals of the operations management. Simply speaking, we say the conversion of a given set of inputs into a desired output in the form of either the products or services. In right, we can add quantity, quality, time, price, etc. That is the shortest definition we can have for operations management. In this block 2, we are looking at how shall we design the operations. That means how our goods and services will be generated. How can we plan for that, and how we can insert the design into these operations. So today we shall be looking at designing and manufacturing goods and services. When we are talking of designing, we shall talk of uh, designing of the conversion process or the production process or the generation process of goods and services. Not only that, we shall also have an insight into the designing of the goods and services so that easily we can manufacture them, and also we can cater to the customers according to their needs, and customers also find it convenient to use the goods and services at right price or right value. So how we shall go forward for that, we shall look in this particular unit. So first we shall try to learn the basics, the manufacturing of product design and process basics. So we shall be looking at what we require in a product, and while designing the product, what are the phases that we shall go through. Apart from that, we shall also look at the designing of production. Now, when we look at the products, immediately the thing comes, we our organization's product or services will be adopted by customers, will be chosen by customers if and only if they are having the quality which is higher as compared to other competitors. So, when we are talking of quality of products, what are the things that combine together to form the quality of products or services? First is conformance to specifications. Uh, every product If we pick up a particular model of the product, then we will find all are exactly same. That means they are produced according to the specifications allocated. So the product should conform to the specification that has been laid down for them. Similarly, in case of services, we can say uh, it may be difficult to conform to the specification, but nowadays most of the organizations are specifying the requirements of any kind of service and how to conform to those specifications or adhere to those specifications. Second aspect we look for, which builds up the quality, is value for money. Uh, when we are talking of value for money, it is the amount of satisfaction that the customer get for spending their money on the products or services. Uh, we can take the example here of certain items, suppose a car. Uh, Basic car having the basic features nowadays like power windows, power steering, the air conditioner, etc. Uh, Most of the cars you'll find will be coming in the range of 10 to 15 lakhs, which is very affordable to the middle class society or people, because the amount of satisfaction they are getting for spending their money is high here. Now, similar cars are also available in the market of various other brands. When you are talking of various other brands, uh, take an example of high end. Suppose somebody says BMW. The same car which may be available to the customers at around 10 to 15 lakh rupees, with the same features, the BMW may be selling the car at around 60 lakhs or 70 lakhs, and people are buying for that, going for that. They are buying also the cars, the BMW cars, and they are satisfied, or they are having the same satisfaction level for their money they have spent. So, quality of products takes into consideration how much value for the money that has been spent by the customer is derived by the customer. Third thing, third aspect, important aspect is fitness for use. Any product, suppose we are taking the example of product, it should perform its basic purpose for which they are made. Apart from that, you may have additional features. Take the example of AC, air conditioners. Now, in the hot summer days, the requirement of AC is increasing day by day. The reason being, they will be providing the coolness inside the house. If we fit one AC in our house, they will be cooling our house. Now, the basic primary function here of the AC is to cool the room. Now, apart from cooling the room, we also require another primary function, that it should run or have a lifespan for a fair length of time. Suppose we may say that 5 years. All right. Apart from that, nowadays we are finding AC with a host of features apart from this basic function, like uh, we can say net or internet driven ACs. That means while starting from the office to home, you may ask the AC through internet to start itself, so that when you reach or go inside the house, you will find that it is cooled already, because switching on the AC takes some time in order to chill the room or cool the room. It is not that switching on the AC immediately will cool the thing. All of us might have found this in the cars also. In the hot summer days, if we switch on the AC, it is not always that immediately we get the inside of the car cooled. So, there, if we switch on the AC before, sometimes before we actually use the car or the house, then it is ready for uh, giving the coolness experience to the person. Now, this additional feature now comes through internet connectivity. Similarly, nowadays we have voice commands. Instead of using the remotes or moving from your chair while you are using certain products like AC, like TV, in cars also, in audio systems, etc., you can give voice commands and the machines will obey them. But they have to perform at least their basic functions first. Next thing that we shall look is after sales service. Uh, we purchase a product with an assumption that it will run for a fair length of time or a period of time which is its lifespan. And in order that it runs throughout its lifespan, expected lifespan, uh, it has to be defect free. But not all products are defect free. Sometimes the products or services are subject to certain kind of negative circumstances, due to which there can be some kind of stoppages or breakdowns. Now, when this happens, you require the after sales service, be it replacing a part inside the machine, be it the technicians looking at your machine and correcting any fault that is there in the uh, circuits of the machines, etc. So, after sales service, how fast it is, how near it is to us, all these things matter in order to build up the quality of products. And finally, psychological impression. There are certain kind of products, when we hear about it, immediately something comes to our mind. That is, that must be a good item because it belongs to this organization or has been manufactured by this particular organization. We have many brand names. Suppose electronic goods, Sony, Samsung, etc. In cars, suppose uh, high-end luxury cars, you may have Volvo, you may have the Mercedes, BMW, Audi, etc. Now, next thing is, in order to maintain all this quality, the product has to be designed. And while the product has to be designed, we should look at whether production facility is matching the requirements. That means to produce the product design. So the production has to be designed and that has to be taken into account what it can perform. Accordingly, we shall go for designing the product. So when we are designing the product, what are the various phases? Let us see. First is recognition of need. Unless there is a need, then even if we produce new different type of products or generate new services, then more or less it is assumed to fail in the marketplace. So you have to recognize the need. Uh, we can see from the ancient times, suppose communication. In the ancient time, communication was basically uh, either through the message carrier who were running from one place to another, sitting on a horse, carrying the message, or through mirrors which will be reflecting light for a certain distance, and the use of light for variable length of time, they could generate the message as given by the previous station. You can also have gone into the history or nowadays also, where many instances of birds like eagles, etc., are used to carry the messages. Then came the radio age. The messages were carried out through telephone lines, the telegraph lines, etc. But the creation of infrastructure and to reach every nook and corner, it was very difficult. And in order to overcome that, wireless radio messaging began with telegraphic messages. Now, at this present juncture, we are using technologies which has been developed over years, and they are using satellites to beam messages from one place to another wherever you are on the planet Earth. There is no need of wiring the place, etc. So you have to recognize the need, what people need. Accordingly, you have to design the thing. In the earlier days when mobiles were coming to the marketplace, the basic usage was getting or using calls to other peoples. But as time passed by, people's people needs changed. They wanted more and more features. Apart from calls, they wanted messaging system. They wanted internet system. All this have led to development of smartphones. And the technologies that are being used is changing over at a very rapid pace. Today you see 3G, after 2 years you will be finding 4G, like that 5G. Now we are running at 5G, and in few days time we may be running into 6G networking. So you have to look at what people require. Accordingly, the products have to be designed. Once you get the need, you have to define it. Need is nothing but the problem faced by people. So, what are the options that we have in front of us to solve people's needs or the problems? We try to analyze that and find an optimal solution to the given thing. Now, it is not always that whatever results we have generated is optimal. So, once we think that we have achieved an optimal or near optimal result, we try to implement it as a pilot study. That means we try to test it in pockets and evaluate the results. If the results are positive, and in our view, the thing that has been developed is successful, we present it to the world. Now let us look at product development process. How we can develop a product. Just now we have seen the need identification. Unless and until we have a need, there is no question of going for a product development, which may be new or which may be a higher version of the existing one. So, first is we should identify the need. Uh, Let us take another example. Nowadays, people are becoming more health conscious. So, in order that they do not have to go to a pathology or patholab for testing the parameters of the body, what they thought, if certain gadget will be there which will be always available with them and can interpret the pathology of the body, then it will be far much better. Now, this thinking of people led the mobile companies or the mobile manufacturers to think that yes, here we have a need of a certain feature which will measure the pathology of human body in their mobiles they are carrying. So they tried to develop certain kind of softwares, etc., and they tried to put it in their particular in their products, and they tested it and found that it is a huge success, and people also have got a solution for their problem. So always the need has to be identified. Um, Second is advanced product planning. Now, what is this advanced product planning? Now, once we identify the need, we try to think how the product should be, what are the features it should carry, who are the basic or who are going to be the basic users of the product, what is the price band that we shall keep for the product. Now, this led to advanced design. When we go for advanced design, we think of the raw materials to be used, from where it has to be procured, where it has to be stored, who are the suppliers, the basic energy supply, be it oil based, coal based, or electric based, or solar based, what we are going to use. When the products are finished, where shall we store it? What are the logistics that will be involved in getting the raw material or the inputs, as well as how we shall move the outputs to the marketplace? After analyzing all these things, we go or have a near concrete uh, idea about the detailed engineering design. What should be the shape of the product? That means length, breadth, width. How much should be the weight? In what time it should be manufactured? What are the inputs that are going into the thing? Who are the people who will be working in the production line? What are their technical capabilities should be, so that they can manufacture these products? So all these things are taken up in our detailed engineering design. Now, next step is the production process design and development. Once we have thought of the product, since it is a new product, there might not be any kind of existing production process which can produce the new products. So you have to now think of or rethink of how to design a production process which will manufacture this particular new products. That means what are the machines, what are the timings of the movement of the conveyor belt inside the factory, what is the quality, quantity of raw material to be used, because according to the raw material, the production process also might be changing. So you have to revamp or create a production process. So for that, you have to design. Once product is ready, the production process is ready, we try to uh, start producing it, maybe in small volumes, and we try to test it in various small pockets. That means some test groups or test customer we try to give them. We collect feedback from them and try to see what they are feeling about the new product. What are the benefits they are getting over and above either the existing product or the new product that we have developed? What are the difficulties? What are the drawbacks? So, all these things are evaluated from the test group. Any kind of negative feedbacks which has cropped up during the evaluation phase, they are taken into account seriously and steps are taken to improve that for betterment of the product. Now, since we have gone for a new product or you have developed a product which was earlier non existent or it has been revamped from an older product, we have to educate the customer for its use. Not only that, we should also provide support for the use. So, this is the product development process. In general, the steps that we have discussed now. Now, let us see the process flow design and process selection. Uh, we are looking at process selection. In general terms, we have three basic types of processes. One is the process focus, second is product focus, third is repetitive focus. Now, here let us take two criteria. One is volume of production, one is variety. So, when we say volume, it is the number of items that can be produced in a given period of time. When it is variety, then what are the different kind of models or designs of the product that can be manufactured? So, when we are talking of process focus, here we can say simply here volume. The volume is low, but variety is high. Product focus, when we are talking of, volume is high, variety is low. Now, here I can take an example of, suppose, steel plant. All of us know that a steel plant runs 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. runs non-stop. So volume there is very very high. But variety wise it only produces steel either in form of rods or in form of sheets. Now here I will take an example of suppose from service sector hospital. Let us think of a hospital. Suppose we have gone to a particular hospital. First we go to casualty. Then according to our requirement or the body needs or the injury or the illness, we are directed towards a particular department where action should be taken for our disease or injuries. Here, the volume of treatment is low, but think about variety. The type of diseases can be very, very high variety. So, hospitals are process focused, where volume is or volume of production or volume of output is low, but variety is high. Think about a steel plant. The volume of output is very high, variety is very low. So these are product focused. By taking or looking at these two characteristics, we can say yes, we can have large number of examples. Now, apart from this, we have another general category of industry. Suppose here, let me take an example of car or automobile, car industry. What will be happening in this car industry? Now, if we look either by visiting to the factory and permitted to go inside or through various documentaries shown on the YouTube's etc. TV channels, you'll find the chassis of the car will be kept at the beginning point on a conveyor belt, and this chassis will start moving from one point to another. Each point will be called as an, a workstation. Now, a workstation is specific to a particular job. For example, workstation 1, fitting of engines. So there you will be finding the conveyor belt will stop near workstation 1. The engine which is already ready, either supplied by a vendor or supplied by the manufacturer at another place, is brought near the chassis and fitted to that. That means assembled. Now the conveyor belt again moves. Suppose point 2, the upper body of the car. There again you will find either the upper body manufactured by itself or supplied by a vendor will come near the car or there near the car. The conveyor belt will stop there and we fit the upper body to the chassis. Similarly, various other workstations are assigned a particular task where they will be continuously assembling the parts for which they have been assigned. That means the particular work will be going on repetitively. So the name given is repetitive focus. Here you can take example of mobile phones, fridge, TV, computers, etc. etc. where items are assembled. That means various parts are brought either from outside or built in the factory at some other place, and they are collected near a particular place, and each workstation will try to fit in the parts, and this repetition will go on and on. Now in this regard, in designing of product, we should also have an idea on product life cycle stage. Uh, all of us as human beings, we know that we have a life cycle. We take bath today for around 5 to 6 years. We are constantly kept uh, in, we can say, constant busy because we are infants. We are yet to know the full world, how the world is going to behave. After 6 7 years, we start going to school and we are exposed to the outside world where we learn many things. So, here we have our physical growth as well as mental growth. Now, around 20 to 25 years, mostly all of us complete our uh, studies, and we mostly go for jobs, or some go for becoming entrepreneurs. So, here we are getting mature. We have a sense of responsibility, and this maturity period continues till the age of around 60. Then, after 60, again we will be finding our body will be slowing down due to age related problems. That means we go into the old stage where our body become weak. Mentally, we also are getting uh, the lesser amount of fitness for the mental condition, etc. This is the general life cycle stage of a human being. In this regards, we also talk about product life cycle stages, which also has four different phases: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Now, if I want to show these four stages, for a typical product I am showing, first we take bath and I am showing the sales line. When we take bath or the product is developed, we start from this 0 point, and in the initial stage our growth is not high, just like the human infants. Then after this phase, you'll find you go to school, etc. If you compare this stage and this stage, the second stage, immediately you can say that the growth rate is very high in this second stage. Now, after that, you see the cells more or less remains flat, and after that, it starts falling down. So, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So, we can clearly see the cells now. In the introduction stage, the cells is not there. You have developed a new product. It is not always that any new product developed will be adapted readily by the market. Most of the new products fail in the market. So, here the growth is very sluggish, slow, because uh, customers are apprehensive of the new product, and also the cost is towards the higher side, because you are producing less in volume, you don't have a proper production process in place, so the cost of manufacturing will also be high due to low volume of production. Now once this stage is over, the product gains acceptance of the customer, and customers know that yes, this new product will help us out, will give us satisfaction, will give us value for money. Then there is a rush for the new product. That means we are entering into the growth stage, and the volume of production becomes very higher and higher. So here the company will not only be putting a proper production facility, but also will be expanding its production volume at a faster rate, because the volume requirement is also very high. But here one thing is, competitors will be jumping into the bandwagon. Why? Now once competitors find that your product has been successful in the marketplace, they also want a chunk of that particular product. So they will also be coming with their own version of the same kind of product. So competition will be got through. Now, in this growth stage, whoever can survive, few players will remain in the market. And since most of the people have the products, the market will become stagnant. That means the volume of sale is more or less predictable and remains at a constant, or in other words, a plateau. That means a flat surface. A few players are there, volume of sales is also predictable and it is more or less constant. This continues till people also become fed up with the existing product after a certain period of time. They will try to look for new products which will satisfy their requirements. So, what will happen to the existing or the old product? Now, the sales will start declining. So, you as a company, again, you have to rethink. So, if you introduce a new product from this stage, what will happen? This is the new product. Your decline will be compensated by the new product. So companies always go for R&D activities so that before a existing product faces the decline stage, a new product of their company has come up in their place and they do not lose the market share. So, while developing the product, at what time you have to develop it? That becomes a big question and it is dependent on our life cycle. Now, what competitive advantage new products will give us? Here we can say new products are innovated and developed for few of the things we have taken up here. One is increasing market share. Now, when we have products which are new, successful, adopted by customers who find it having a value for their money, then definitely it will have an impact on the sales of the company. That means it will be dragging it upwards. So, as the sales will be increasing, in other words, the market share will also be increasing. Here we can think about examples like suppose car industry in India. There was a time when the market share of Maruti Suzuki cars was over 90% in the Indian car market. So, other companies, what they tried to do, they tried to come up with new products. That means in the car segment, products which will be having different technologies, different features, extra features, etc. You can see nowadays companies like Tata Motors, Hyundai, etc. They are going upwards in the market share, and Maruti's market share is starting to fall. So these are all due to development of new products. Second thing is new products lead to higher profitability. When you are having a new product as a corporate or a company, it may be so that the amount of competition is very, very less or negligible. That means all the market share will be belonging to you. So the profit generated will definitely be higher. Now, when you are constantly innovating and developing new product, definitely the company's name and image grows in the marketplace. Yes, this company is always ahead of times. It is coming up with new products. Here we can think of suppose mobile phones. The Apple phones, iPhones, or the Samsung phones, or companies like MI phones, they are constantly improving their products or they are coming up with new products. So the image and brand name also is increasing. Another is faster competitive response. Suppose we saw that or we are finding one of our competitors has come up with a product with better features or a totally new product to satisfy needs of the customers. So we immediately ask our R&D team to sit down and carry out necessary activities so that we come up with similar products or a far better product than our competitor and at a very fast pace so that we do not lose out on the competition. And the last thing is the operating cost and capacity utilization. When you are having new products being developed, then the operating cost has a positive impact. That means the volume of production will be increasing. In other words, the operation cost will also be coming down. Not only that, that will also be helping for better capacity utilization of the facilities. Now, design for manufacturing and assembly, in other words, DFMA or DFM. So, this DFMA, design for manufacturing, DFA is design for assembly. Uh, they are for three main activities. Simplify the product structure to reduce manufacturing and assembly costs and bring improvements. And this is a benchmarking tools to study competitors, and it also helps in negotiating suppliers contracts. While it is DFM, designing for manufacturing, 70% of manufacturing costs are determined by design decisions. Nowadays, you'll be finding organization coming up with products which are using some standardized and common equipments, common parts, common spares, which can be used across its models. So thereby what happens? The number of parts to be manufactured reduces and the operating cost also reduces. Similarly, in the design for manufacturing and assembly, main thing is we try to see what are the total components to be used, how we can standardize them so that they can be used in various type of models manufactured by the organization. So, looking at all this, we can say designing operations definitely helps the organization, and nowadays it is a must for any organization to gain competitive advantage. Thank you.